Are you wanting to become super confident like some people you observe, whether it's a celebrity, famous people, or just someone you know? Well, today I'm going to share some beliefs that I've picked up from some highly confident people. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra bonus for you then as well. Now, before we dive in, I just wanted to point you in the direction of the free weekly newsletter where I'm going to keep you up to date with all the latest episodes and a free confidence tip hack each week. So if you want to grab that for absolutely free, all you got to do is click in the link in the show notes below. Okay, so through my journey of like working on my self-esteem and confidence after I had an all-time low in 2019, and even the last 2 years I've been tested a bit. I remember first of all going away and looking, reading, and really trying to discover what it was that made some people confident, and actually what confidence was, what self-esteem was. And for me, self-esteem is how much you like you, regardless of your achievements or anything else. Like, how much do you like you as you? And confidence is you trust in yourself to do things. Now, I know people got slightly different interpretations. That's just personally mine and what I believe. And I remember just like studying people who had like, who are, and you can actually have high confidence in things, yet be challenging self-esteem. But I started to look at people who I genuinely believed had high self-esteem as well. Like they really liked themselves. And people generally that I found with high self-esteem, like that I've known personally, are pretty good people as well, because they don't lash out on other people for their own lack of self-esteem, let's say. And I would log it. I'd be like, okay, learning this, learning that, and really pay attention to it. And as Jim Rohn said, success leaves clues. And that's why I think it's really key to role model things. Now, it's not about becoming someone else because everyone else is taken. You could only be you. It's about learning different approaches and applying them to your life, I find, and therefore being able to develop more self-esteem and confidence. Now, I want to ask you this. If you're doing things in a certain way and you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself and your abilities, then how's that serving you? Because you're anything like me, you probably wanted a change in your approach, right? So, what I do is very regularly start, if I'm like listening to someone successful, someone I admire, a role model, like maybe in the business capacity of a general personal growth capacity, whatever I'm doing, and I start hearing them saying some kind of belief they believe about themselves, other people, the world, usually about themselves. I think, wow, that'd be powerful to believe about myself. I pick it up and I write it down and I read it very, very regularly, because that really allows me to think, oh, that'd be a really great belief to feel, right? And what I do is I try and read these regularly and actually feel them. So I wanted to share some of these beliefs that I picked up from these very highly confident people like Peter Sage that I admire, Joseph McClendon, the Grant Cardones, the Tony Robbinses of the world, right? Some of my role models, for example. So one of them, I kind of reword it for myself as well. If I kind of find my own meaning, is the quality of my life is in direct proportion to the amount of dislike I can handle. And it's kind of one of the lines that Peter Sage says, but he talks about the good opinion of others and that you'll be miserable if you're looking for others' opinions to feel good about yourself. Now, I found that when I've had to challenge people or speak up for how I'm feeling, that's when my life's got better. If you try and impress everyone all the time, it's not great. So if you can try and embed that belief that actually to progress, you're going to have to get used to the fact you're going to be more disliked. And it's not about going out and upsetting everyone deliberately, of course not. But if you can have that belief that you're going to progress, but you're going to have some people upset in the process, then you can live with that, rather than if you have another belief like I will never upset anyone because that's unrealistic, right? The second belief, and some people may not like to hear this, but I think it's really good. Time is not my friend. That was a Grant Cardone one. And what that means is, yes, when you're in the process of building up skills, yeah, you're not going to get an overnight fix. Yet the problem is, a lot of us are like, okay, I'm going to go out and research this and I'm going to study this. Now, someone who's been a coach, who's worked in sales, I've seen this like excuse of like, I'll just do some more work, I'll just do some more research. It's rubbish, right? It's just fear in the way. It's always fear. So if you like waiting for the right time, time is not your friend. When you want to do something, do it quickly. Don't worry about perfection. Go and do it. Obviously, think about it a little bit logically if it's something you know that you need to think about, but don't overthink it. Right? Time is not my friend. And these people that I role model, they tend to do things very quickly. They'll make decisions quickly and they'll move quickly. Right? They'll think about things, of course, but they'll move very, very quickly. Time is not your friend. Time is going. Right? The third thing, align your heart so that others can receive you. Now, this is a belief I picked up from John Wineland, I think it was from the book The Core. I did a previous episode on this, as that was one of my favorite books as well. Yeah, when you can really connect with your heart, that can really allow you to see what's good. Now, what I find a really good couple of breathing exercises, great to connect with my heart. And that allows me to send off a different energy. I even see it when people look at me differently. When I've been doing a lot of in-depth work into my heart, I still see people kind of like looking around like I got a different energy, right? Rather than if I'm feeling tired, lethargic, and just walking down the street. So that's a key one, align to your heart. The fourth one, stop trying to fight the current of life. Instead, position yourself better in the river. That's a Peter Sage one. And what that means is lots of us are told to fight, work hard, all these kind of things. I've worked really hard and not earned a lot of money. A lot of people work really hard and don't earn a lot of money. And that's not all about money, of course. I've seen lots of people work on and don't move forward with the impact they want to make. Now, oh, there goes my watch. There goes my watch. And I'm going to continue the podcast anyway. So, like, when people are trying to battle things all the time, it can be exhausting. Instead, look at actually the direction you want to go. Now, if something's not going for you, maybe that's life giving you some direction and saying, oh, maybe you should go this way instead of that way. You don't always have to find the hardest way of doing something, all right? And that's certainly a belief that I've picked up, that sometimes life's a lot easier. You're just not looking in the right direction, right? So, and to allow yourself to flow more, give yourself more space, allow yourself to be. And this has been one of my biggest challenges. I'm a doer. I'm not very good at being. I like sharing. I like creating. Yet sometimes I work too hard. So you've got to be as well. And this was a really empowering belief. My past does not equal my future unless I live there. Tony Robbins, really powerful quote. So many of us are like, well, I can't be good at public speaking. Oh, I can't find the right relationship. Oh, I'm not going to get the job. Oh, I'm not going to be successful in business because we've had some challenges in the past. Our past does not define our future. There are so many people who have failed time and time again until they succeeded. Michael Jordan, for example, he didn't get picked for his, I think it's his college basketball team or his high school basketball team. And then he's the best basketball player ever. Like, I'm not massive in basketball. There's apparently like LeBron James and maybe someone else as well. So anyway, he's regarded as one of the, if not the best basketball player. And he said he's failed so many shots. But if he let his past define him, would he have had the great future he had? No. Walt Disney got turned down by like 300 banks before he got given the money to do like all the stuff he did with Disney, right? So his past didn't define him, right? And there's many other examples. Like Tony Robbins, one of the greatest people in personal growth, greatest names. He had a real struggling background, right? He had a lot of abuse when he was growing up. He came from a lot of poverty, shared in the story. And he's like one of the biggest leaders in personal growth. He did not let his past define him. And obviously that's his quote as well, which is really powerful. Now I've got an extra point for you as well. just for that, I want to point you in the direction of our free weekly newsletter that you can get access to, get free weekly updates of when the latest episodes are and a weekly confidence tip. All you got to do is click in the link in the show notes below. Okay, so here is a bonus point, and it's from one of my mentors, Joseph McClendon. It's a really powerful belief to have. Think, feel, do, have. I'll say that again. Think, feel, do, have. As I think, so we start with our thoughts, then we'll feel a certain way. And then because we feel a certain way, we'll do certain things, and then we'll get different results from what we do, right? And then we get to the have part. Now, a lot of our thoughts actually come from subconscious patterns, right? So it's really important to catch them and do deep diving yourself, journaling, whatever you need to do. Yeah, if you can focus on changing your thoughts to serve you. And one of my great friends, Cindy, her name is, she's been on the podcast, a really good friend of mine on the West Coast of America. She had a horrendous time, lots of loss and grief. She's one of the most, I work on the same sales team as her. It's one of the most, she's hugely successful in everything she does. She's a hugely successful coach. But more importantly, she's extremely happy, grateful, and her positive energy, and it's not like fake, is so genuine. She had so much loss, so much grief. She had to reprogram her thoughts that way. And she's an inspiration to me. And there's so many people who have inspired me in my life, right? So if we can start training our thoughts, then we'll feel a different way, and then we'll do a different thing, and then we'll have different results. So think, feel, do, have. Take that on as a belief that you're in control of changing your thought, therefore how you feel, therefore what you do, therefore what you have. Now, if you suddenly just feel like, I've had challenges, like sort of just suddenly I feel bad. Now that usually comes from a hidden thought. And my job is to make that conscious so I can look at it and then say, right, is that really true, that negative thought? And that's caused off the negative feeling. So think, feel, do, have. Right. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You'll improve other people's lives for being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.